Welcome to our webinar, Drive Up the Value of Your Franchise for 2013. Today we're going to hear from leading experts about how to grow your franchise in 2013 by increasing sales and better leveraging the power of digital marketing. We're going to make this as interactive as possible, so if you have any questions during or after the webcast, our Twitter handle is @BluewaterBrand, and please remember to use the hashtag DriveUp2013. Our first topic will focus on the top 3 ways to grow your franchise, presented by Andrew Horton from FranChoice. FranChoice is a company that successfully matches entrepreneurs with the perfect franchise business. And then next we'll have a discussion with Bonnie Harris from Wax Marketing, which is a leading integrated marketing communications firm, about leveraging the power of digital marketing in 2013. So before we chat with our presenters, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Christine Kropp, CEO and founder of Bluewater. Bluewater is an integrated marketing firm representing franchisees to help grow their brand, empower their brand by using data to understand their customers and then using that data to help drive smart marketing decisions. To learn more about Bluewater and franchise marketing, please visit us at bluewaterbrand.com. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'd like to introduce you to Andrew Horton, the VP of Business Development at FranChoice. Andrew has a depth of experience and knowledge in the franchising industry and has helped hundreds of entrepreneurs understand their needs and business goals in order to successfully grow their franchise units. Thanks for joining us, Andrew.
Thanks, Christine. Yeah, I've actually spent about 12 and a half years in the industry as both a franchisee and a supplier, so I'm going to kind of apply some of those lessons to the topics that you guys are sharing today. And the first one is how to grow your business. And there's a few key steps that we've used over the years to help coach franchisees, would-be franchise owners, and also our consultants as to how to rapidly grow their business. The first is that every person needs to have a specific goal in mind. You know, everybody that's ever gone into business should have a reason they're doing it. Get you through the tough times, the challenges, the slow quarters, that kind of thing. Because you got to have that dream or that goal to pull you through that. The key to this is to be specific. If you have a specific place you're trying to get to, the business is not the dream, it's the vehicle to help you achieve that dream. And so if you set a specific goal, it'll make it far more effective for you to know where you're trying to get to and then how to effectively get there. The second point is to define those activities and to make an actual plan. So you have your goal. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, type A sales guy like me or our consultants, is probably an overachievable big goal, but that's why you're in business. A couple of examples that I have to share are from, one is that we owned a painting company as a franchisee called CertaPro Painters, commercial and residential. The second one is our FranChoice consultants that actually help place would-be owners into different franchise systems. But you can't just say, hey, I want to have a $1 million business, and then all of a sudden tomorrow you're there. There's a lot of small incremental steps that'll take you from where you are today to get into that goal. And in most businesses, it comes down to activity. Daily, weekly things you can do that are going to get you there. The key is to look at those and break them down to make it an attainable goal so you have small successes along the way. If you're in business, you know your closing ratio, you know your average customer count, you know your average ticket price, you know how many marketing dollars it takes to make an appointment or a sale or whatever it is. Take that $1 million goal you might have, break that down into small bite-sized chunks, and then just kind of make a plan. A couple of examples from my experience. In the painting business, it was all about activity. On the residential side, it was basically a drive marketing out and then set appointments for residential paint bids or whatever. And so it was highly targeted. We used companies like Bluewater, for example, to go and direct mail or use some kind of e-marketing to drive those appointments. We knew if we spent X, we'd get X number of appointments, and that would lead to painting more homes the next week or the next month. In the FranChoice, or on the commercial side, I should say, it was more of a referral, shoe leather kind of a business, a lot of hustle involved. So, okay, how many contacts do you have to make in a given week to get in front of 10 potential vendors or contractors, and then how many of those would become actual sales for you? So we set real small goals for the sales team and the guy who ran the company and made a game plan every week to hit X number of appointments or X number of dollars spent to produce those appointments. In the FranChoice business, it's actually a lot easier. It's a personal services deal, so If it takes X number of leads to produce Y number of candidates, you have to go and just put in the effort and make the phone calls. Um, and what we noticed is that our guys are all type A like me. Activity is what drives them. So the more activity they had, the more happy they were as salespeople. So we try to keep those folks real busy with small attainable goals on a daily basis and make that happen. The best thing about our group is we put it all in writing. It's a very public thing, and that's how they know what I have to accomplish this week to go ahead and make that happen. That dovetails into point three. Executing your plan is obviously where all the work actually comes in. It's easy to make a plan, hard to actually execute it. I'd rather be golfing out on the lake today because it's 54 degrees here in Minneapolis, but we don't get to golf. We got to work, and that's what franchisees have to have as their mentality too. And it's tough if you're a small business owner working out of your house or on your own. And so what we recommend is to make it public. In the FranChoice business, you have to find an accountability partner. I'm stuck with me as their accountability partner, kind of the guy holding them accountable every week to their plan, but they can also use peers or whatever. It's amazing, though, how impactful it is to have to communicate what you did, or more importantly, did not do last week to achieve that goal. So if you have a person who's going to, be positive but direct with you and be honest and hold you accountable, it's amazing how much impact that can have. And you have your weekly phone call, asking for a half hour of their time. It's just kind of your check and balance, and the results really flow from there. If you're a franchisee, you probably want to have an operations person from the company. Maybe they have, managers or GMs that are assigned to you. Could be another, partner franchisee in the same market that you know well, or maybe another business contact who's in a different world but has the same kind of challenges and goals that you do. Those are great partners to have in place for that. In CertaPro, they had the most aggressive operations team I've ever seen in my entire life. They were very aggressive. They actually compensated their operations team based on performance of the owners. So they were commissioned based on that way, which was incredibly intelligent for them. What it did is it created very much a type A, we're going to go make this happen, from the CEO down to the sales guy, down to the operations manager, down to the janitor, I think, in their company was commissioned for something around that place. But what it did is it made these peer groups, they called them flight groups, where they had groups of owners that were on the same level of the business. And every week they would report their sales numbers, their appointment numbers, their customer satisfaction numbers. And I think monthly they actually showed their financials to the other members in the group. I mean, it was a very much an open book, transparent place, but it created an incredible positive camaraderie, healthy competition kind of environment for us as a franchisee. And the results they've attained are stunning. And so I think if you can create that for yourself, whether through the franchisor, through your franchise, through a partner, through your local co-op, whatever, it's a great place to help make sure you achieve those goals. None of it's rocket science, but I think if you have a goal, have a plan, and execute it, make it real public, that's a great way to ramp things up for 2013 in your business. Now the question is oftentimes, okay, what's the benefit? And it kind of breaks down two different ways. One is for the franchisee. First and most importantly is obviously income. If you're busier and you're making more money or creating more sales, you're going to make more money. But I think momentum has a huge part of that as well. Most businesses have a point where they hit a much more favorable point with margins, far past break even, where the economics kind of tip in your favor. Set that as your goal. You'll be a much happier camper when you get there. There are some economies of scale if you're a franchisee as well, whether it be co-oping some marketing, getting more margin per employee, revenue per employee, that kind of thing can be a huge benefit once you hit that kind of plane and critical path in your business. And then not, to look at the end of the table, but, in every business you sell. I mean, the average franchisee has about a 7.5-year tenure as a franchise owner in our industry. So eventually you're going to look to sell that thing. And if your growth curve looks like a hockey stick versus a flat, you're going to get a lot higher multiple, making a lot more money when your big payday comes, which when you go and sell that franchise to another potential franchisee. On the franchisor side, it's mostly future-based income. You're putting a lot of money and effort into resources that'll help grow your royalty stream down the road. But when your royalties tip in your favor as a franchisor, that 6% off a huge growing base of franchisees with skyrocketing sales is where the real money is as a franchisor. You also get economies of scale, same way a franchisee, but on a much larger scale, because you're making more purchases. You've got more leverage in the marketplace for real estate, supplies, all that kind of purchasing power comes into play to your benefit and your franchisee's benefit. And of course, you're probably going to want to sell that business someday too, as a franchisor or a private equity firm or what have you. And if you've got a bunch of franchisees that are growing like weeds, and they're also much happier, and you're adding, a lot of owners per year because that momentum is just growing through your system, you're going to get a much higher multiple from whoever you sell the business to as well. So the benefits really, I think, kind of hit both sides in our industry. But growth is always good. As I watch our inventory of companies grow, the ones that have that secret word momentum are ones that are just flying high, and the ones that are much happier, and they're the ones that attract all those new high quality franchisees in our business. Lastly, they asked me for some trends and ideas for next year, 2013. I'm not a prognosticator by trade, but what I've noticed is that no matter how you voted on Tuesday, people have accepted this as being the new normal. It's not going to change unless I go and make it change. And so we have a lot of folks, whether it be our consultants, new franchisees that are out there, okay, this is going to be my new deal. I'm going to make the change happen for myself. As an example, we're up 100% for people actively looking at franchises to buy in the last year. And people that say, okay, I'm not going to wait for it to happen to me. I'm going to go ahead and make it happen for myself. With that, we've seen some huge growth numbers in the last 18 or 24 months. Same store sales are through the roof. A lot of our franchisors report back to us, the positive of what their system is doing. A lot of them are expanding, cheaper real estate. There's a lot of liquidity available if you're a successful franchisee to expand your business. And so those things are really positive indicators for our business, I think, for most of the audience here. And then lastly, I would say it's a good time to be aggressive. When the other guys didn't get lean and mean over the last few years, and if you did and you put some money away in the war chest, now's the time to bury them. Whether it be expanding, adding new high talent you can get for cheaper than you could have a few years ago because they're on the sidelines waiting for a good job, or just spend that marketing money, and bury the competition. It's a great time, I think, to be aggressive. We've seen a lot of franchisees gobbling up the ones that are not doing so well. They're kind of, porpoising along the bottom because they can get a great price and really expand their empire in their local markets. I've been watching a History Channel show, Men Who Built America, and all those guys that we all know as, household names, Carnegie, Rockefeller, Ford, they all made their fortunes during a depression. So I think it's a good time to really look at your business and then be more aggressive and make a plan and grow.
That's awesome. It's really good information. Like you said earlier, it may not be rocket science when you're talking about sharing your goal with somebody so that they can hold you accountable is huge. It's really important. So as somebody is sharing those activities or planning that plan and what are the main categories of activities that they should be focusing on?
Well, the key is to keep it real simple. Mainly, I would have one, your BHAG, your big goal you want to try and accomplish. And even if it's up in the stars, if you aim for the stars and hit the moon, you still by leaps and bounds that year. And I would say, pick 2 or 3 things that you have control over, that you're not market dependent. Okay, every week I can go and I can make X sales calls or push out X number of direct mail or marketing piece or whatever. Things that you control that are very attainable could give you a lot of little positive wins along the way to achieve that goal.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. So I'm sure our audience has more questions. Remember, our Twitter handle is @Bluewater Brand, and please remember to use the hashtag DriveUp2013.